I have been participating in the Literally Did book club since day one, since the very first book, before I even had a channel. Kayla very kindly reached out and asked me to be one of the co-hosts for April, so I will be joining the live show for The Inheritance this month. And since I've participated for so long, I was like, wait, how many of these have I actually read? Guess what? I read almost every single pick. So in this vlog, I'm going to be reading the rest of the books that I haven't read to say that I have read everything for the Literally Dead book club. It's been around for 5 years now. This is the 6th year. I don't have quite all the books. There were a few I couldn't get my hands on. We have year 1, which I have read everything from. Year 2, where I've read all but one. I've read all of year 3's picks. Year 4 is the year that I was slacking. So I have not read Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun, The Devotion of Suspect X, or A Twisted Love Story. Year 5, which was last year, I've read all but one. I just did not read Night Watching. And then we are in year 6. I have read the first book of the year. I have not read You Are Fatally Invited, and then I have not read this month's pick either. So I'm going to be reading the ones I have not gotten to in the order that I should have read them according to the book club. So starting with For Your Own Good and ending with The Inheritance. I'm very excited about all of this. Super stoked to co-host. I love this book club. I've really enjoyed a lot of these books. Sometimes I read them because of the book club. Sometimes I was going to already read them because I pick up a lot of the same horror and thrillers as Kayla. I think it'll be very fun to complete all of the books. So I have been watching Kayla's channel since 2019, I believe. I found booktube in 2014 and I didn't really like what it was doing, and then I found it again in 2019 and somehow I ended up watching one of Kayla's videos and immediately I was like, this is what I want booktube to be. And I truly did start my channel because she was a really big inspiration with the content she was creating. So when she started her book club, I had already been participating in her readathons that she was doing. She did a couple like public ones at the time. I went back. I couldn't find a comment on the first one. I can't remember if I was at that specific live show, but I know that I read the book for it. But the second live show, here is a screenshot. Like I commented, this is this is me. I'll zoom in for you. Yeah, I gave the book what, 2.5 stars. So didn't go great, but that is fine. I tend to not make live shows for any book clubs because I'm really bad at it for some reason, but I've been keeping up with the book club in general. A lot of them are ones that I was already interested in, so that worked out in my favor. But somehow there were 2 Samantha Downings on this list, which I understand to an extent, but also I don't, because My Lovely Wife, I read and I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. But then I got He Started It, and I did not like it. I thought it was so boring and gave it 2.5 stars. But I believe in between that time, the first one that I need to read was published and selected as a book club pick. So I'm 29% into For Your Own Good, which just got me to part 2. This is separated in 3 parts, so I figured I'd check in then. I'm having such a good time with this. Samantha Downing is interesting because I feel like her thrillers are always in setup slightly different than a lot of other thrillers. In this one, we are following Teddy, and he is a teacher at a very rich private school, and he has disturbing thoughts. He likes to punish people when they annoy him, and he doesn't like how privileged people are, so he will like give them a lower grade and things like that. And he thinks that he is doing his part in the world by teaching people that they can't be spoiled and always get what they want, which is interesting because like he himself is then getting everything he wants by like knocking them down a peg and things like that. I don't even know what the synopsis is because I don't want to spoil anything. Teddy has won Teacher of the Year at the esteemed Belmont Academy, home to the best and brightest. He says his wife couldn't be more proud, though no one has seen her in a while. Teddy really can't be bothered with the death of a school parent that's looking more and more like murder, or the student digging a little too deep into Teddy's personal life. His main focus is on pushing these kids to their full academic potential. All he wants is for his colleagues and the endlessly meddlesome parents to stay out of his way. It's really too bad that sometimes excellence can come at such a high cost. I wasn't sure if the death of a parent was going to be said, but that has just happened, and then the end of part 1 is kind of like the beginnings of the aftermath of that. Up until this point, it's all been so character focused. Like, we are just watching him be like, don't like that, so I'm going to do this. Or I think that you're spoiled, so I'm going to give you a B instead of an A. And then there's like situations that come from that. It's so interesting to be in his head because why is he like this? Why is he thinking these things? I understand that these people are privileged and they are spoiled and acting like they deserve more than they probably do and things like that. But just like the way he goes about things is interesting. The stuff with his wife does not feel like the main focus of the story, but there are comments where he's like saying things and then you're like, what does that mean? What does it mean? So far, so good. Having a really good time with it, but like it doesn't feel like a thriller in the sense that something has happened and we are trying to figure it out and survive the situation. Like, our main character is putting himself in these situations. It's very engaging, but definitely character and not plot focused at this point. I have made it to part 3 of For Your Own Good, which is 78% in, and I'm still really liking this one, but slightly less. So at the beginning, I was like, this is different than things I usually give 5 stars because it's more character focused, but I was like, maybe it could be 5 stars because I love the unhinged nature of our character's thought process. But in part 2, we are getting a little bit more than I wanted. There's been some things that I was like, oh, I think that this is going to be really interesting. And then it wasn't what I thought it was. And I feel like the added stuff has just made it drag on because the reason I'm invested in this is for Teddy being unhinged. I don't need other characters and their thoughts, especially because of what is happening. So at this point, I'm still really enjoying it, but I am ready for it to wrap up. I mean, I am 78% in, so it is getting close, but I think that this could have been a little bit shorter and a little less going on, and I would have liked it more because I feel like the addition of things didn't add much to the plot. It just added another character that wasn't interesting. So if it would have like ramped up the story itself or the plot like I thought it was going to, I would have been like, cool, incredible, I love this, but that didn't happen. So there's just been like some stuff that I'm not quite as interested in. I am really enjoying watching Teddy trying to do what he thinks is right in the very opposite of right way. It's fun. It's very engaging because like, what is he going to do next? But I do think this could be a little bit shorter, but I am having a really fun time with it. I like it a lot more than he started it, probably on par with My Lovely Wife. That one was also very character focused and there's like obviously things happening within that, but it feels very different from a standard thriller, which I do appreciate. We have a lot to catch up on. Bowser's heavy breathing right here. Every time I sit on this to film, I forget that it like creaks and stuff. So I have finished For Your Own Good. I enjoyed this one. I liked the beginning more and I wish that it would have taken a little bit of a different turn. I didn't love the ending either. I think it was decent, but just not a favorite for me. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think that it was a fun time. I like this kind of story. I just want these stories to be shorter or have like something else going on. And I feel like the thing that was trying to be this something else wasn't my favorite choice. I wish it wasn't more like other character focused and that like our main character did something that was more plot focused. Moving on to 2023. This is the year that I am the least caught up on. So the first pick of the year was Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. I have already read the first 2 in the series. The first one I gave 5 stars. The second one I gave 4 stars. And I have started this and I am 100 pages in, which is to chapter 13. I'm gonna DNF it. I don't care about anything that's going on. I feel like in the first book, I really loved how silly it was. The plot would never happen. It was over the top. It was ridiculous. But I had a really fun time with that. I just feel like that can't continue to happen without feeling weird. And everything that's happening in this book just feels like it's happening just for the book to happen. I don't care about Finlay anymore. I don't care about Vero. I don't care about her relationship with this cop guy. I don't need to watch them at this police academy thing. Like, everything just feels like it's happening just to exist, and I don't care about anything. I do think that if I finished this, it would be a 3-star book. Like, it would be okay, fine enough, but I don't need to read it. I don't. Even though I loved the first one in this series, I think I'm done after this one. With the plot not being good, like, the characters are not enough to carry it. I think that they're entertaining within the context of the fun plots, but yeah, I don't know. I don't need to read this. So a DNF for Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun, which I kind of did expect because I know people didn't love this one and said it was very like filler feeling. I definitely agree with that, and I just don't like cozy mysteries enough to read this one. The next one is the June pick that I have not read, and that is The Devotion of Suspect X. I have also started this one. After this, I will give you check-ins as I'm going, but I was just like flying through things. I'm 126 pages into this one. I was aware of this book because of the book club, but I didn't have any context of it. I feel like I didn't see anybody talk about it. Like, I don't remember watching videos where people read it or it standing out in those videos. Since I'm 40%, and I think I will just check in with you when I finish this book tomorrow. This is part of a Detective Galileo series. I guess this is the first one because it says this one and then Salvation for a Saint is forthcoming at the time this was printed. Wait. Oh. I was like, this came out in 1958. Nope, that's when the author was born. So we are following Ishigami, and he works at a school and he lives in this apartment. He just like is very aware of his neighbor, and like she works at a lunchbox place where there's like, I guess, pre-made like boxed meals you can take. So he goes every single day, and then she ends up killing her ex-husband. He sucks, and he for a while had been stalking her and harassing her for money, threatening her, not in like a I'm gonna beat you up for money kind of way, but just like to try to intimidate her. So she was dealing with this for a very long time. She moved her and her kid to a different area so that her daughter would go to a different school. He wouldn't know how to contact her or anything. The daughter is his stepdaughter, so she was previously married, and he comes and finds them again after about a year of being apart. And there's this situation that happens that ends to them killing him. And then they get a knock on the door from the neighbor that was like, what was that noise? And they're like, oh, haha, nothing. So then he's like, okay, cool. And the neighbor is the teacher that I told you about. And then he calls her and was like, listen, if you need help getting rid of a body, I will help you. So they're very wary, but then end up doing that. So they end up disposing of his body, and the body is just like, it's like a park pretty much. But his fingers are burned off, his teeth are gone, like the identifying features, his face was smashed in. So once they figure out who it is, then they are like, was this his ex-wife? So they've like come up with this plan and everything. We are mostly following Ishigami, and he's this like very smart guy. He is a mathematician. He was known for being like the guy that was super, super into math whenever he was in school. And then one of the cops that has interviewed him, like, hey, do you know this lady? Also went there, but kind of acted like he didn't know him, and then told his friend, who is the like guy that's, I guess, the continuing character in these things. And then he starts to get involved in it in like a, oh, well, let me reconnect with this guy kind of way, but also I'm going to ask him some questions. And it's been very interesting. It's very different from what I expected. I don't really read like these investigating kind of books, but we're following Ishigami trying to like cover up this thing. And there's this question of, are you smarter if you solve this unsolvable puzzle, or are you smarter if you make an unsolvable puzzle, which relates both to this crime and to math. So that's really what's happened. Just a bunch of people walking around, hiding things, trying to discover things. It's very intriguing. It's not very, like, fast-paced, fast-moving, but there's something about it that is keeping me drawn into the story. I'm looking forward to finishing it. I truly don't know what this is going to do because there's not a lot of options, I feel, but I know there's a twist in here. So I just, like, I'm trying to not think about what that could be. I'm not somebody that needs to not be able to guess things. Like, I feel like the experience of it is part of my rating and not just like, oh, did I guess the twist or not being my rating? But yeah, so far so good. Pleasantly surprised just because I don't really hear anything about this, which could be because it is translated in an older book. It's not like old. Oh, I mean, it came out in 2005 and then translated in 2011. So a lot older than things that I'm typically reading and like people are generally making content about that I watch, but it's a fun time. That was a very, very long update on a lot of things. I won't take so long to talk to you again next time. I finished The Devotion of Suspect X. Okay, I was not expecting the twist in here. I wasn't. It got me. There was no part of me that would have ever guessed that, which was very exciting because I feel like that doesn't usually happen for me, and especially not in books that are from 2005, because I feel like usually if something is really impressive, a lot of people will be inspired by that and do their own twist on it. And I really, like, it got me. It got me. That being said, oh God, this is, I feel like I'm going to give this 3.75, which feels very specific, but 4 feels too high because other than the twist, I was like weirdly engaged but bored at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. I really think it's just the writing style. Everything felt very detached. It is in third person and we are following multiple people, but I feel like our main character is the one that I told you about already. Everything is kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but like he's a boring math guy. So sorry to anybody that loves math, but I don't need like the specifics of these intricate problems and the math of the world, and I don't know. But other than that too, just felt very detached, which is just part of this style of like Japanese, I believe it is, crime novels. Yeah, okay, this is originally in Japanese. So I think I haven't read many, but from just things that I've heard, I think that that is very like this style of book. So that's not a fault of the book, but for my personal taste, I want to be like really invested in the characters too with enjoying the plot. And like I liked the plot, but not the storytelling, or I didn't care about the characters. So I think this was really fun. If you like kind of crime and psychological books, I would recommend this one. I don't think I would have picked it up outside of this just because I don't hear anybody talking about it, and with older books I don't usually go back and read things that are more obscure, but I had a really fun time. So I'm really happy that I read this, and another one down for 2023 for the book club. We'll be moving on to another Samantha Downing. I feel like reading 2 books from the same author in one video was probably not smart for this book. So in this, we are following Wes and Ivy, and they have this like weird relationship where they are like terrible to each other, but they're both into it. Like calling the cops multiple times, trashing offices, getting like the companies involved, like those kinds of things. But then they're like, oh, I love you so much. So this book starts off with Wes being contacted by the police, and they're like, are you stalking this lady? And he's like, no, I would never do that. So then he contacts her and is like, you called the cops on me. And she's like, well, don't stalk me. They've been separated for like a year or something. They ended on really weird terms, but now they're like, let's date again. So they're dating, and it's like kind of in secret, but also not. They definitely have certain moments that are really, really great, and then others that are clearly not. And now that they're in this new relationship, it seems really good at first, and then the problems start to come back. But because of Ivy reporting Wes for stalking, this cop is like, I have nothing better to do, so I'm gonna look into this case. So she's doing that, and neither of them are happy about it. And then apparently there's something that they never talk about the night of their worst breakup, when one of them, wait, what? Oh, I just read something in the synopsis that I had no idea happened yet, and I feel like that would have been a good thing to not know, so I'm not going to tell you because I feel like that would have made it better. The thing is, Samantha Downing is really, really good at writing these very unlikable characters and making them interesting, but at the same time, I didn't sign up to read like a dark romance, which is kind of what it's feeling like right now. I'm not very well versed in dark romance. I think I've read like 2, 3, but it's kind of feeling like that because they're obviously very toxic but very obsessed with each other. At the beginning I was liking it because I'm like, where's this gonna go? But now it hasn't really gone anywhere. And the thing that I didn't tell you is more like thrillery, but I feel like that needed to be introduced earlier. 130 pages in, like, it's okay, but I'm quickly losing interest in what it's doing. So I need something. Sorry if you can hear a car. Adam decided he needed to sit in his car right now. I am getting ready to leave. It is indie bookstore day, which if you are watching this when it comes out, you might realize that that was yesterday. And yeah, I'm delusional. I wanted to do this video, but I didn't think of it till really last minute, and then we decided that the live show needed to be this coming weekend, so I kind of thought I'd have an extra week. And like, it is what it is. I'm not bothered by it, but I have had to do a lot of reading at once, but I'm leaving the house, so I should put on some sunscreen. Yeah, it's indie bookstore day. I am looking for the indie version of Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, which, do I need it? No, because I already have the Barnes & Noble one, but the fact that there's an indie version is really cool, and the fact that it's a horror book is extra exciting, so I want to support that happening in the future. And like, if it's a really cool special edition and it's limited, then I am down. I really don't need 2 copies of it, but it was one of my favorite books of last year, so that is my plan. I have been reading A Twisted Love Story, and I am now 78% in, so I'm definitely gonna finish this one on my drives around, because I have to drive kind of far to go to the one bookstore I'm going to. It's one that I put off because it's a little bit further away, so I figured today would be a good day to go. Okay, so this definitely is feeling more like a thriller now. So I made this sound a bit like it was only a romance, well, a dark romance, and obviously very toxic, but it's not. It's gotten more into thriller territory. But also, there's been stuff outside of our main characters that is like impacted by them, but not following them. That is darker. This one does deal with a lot of themes of sexual assault, so just be aware of that if you're interested in reading this one. And I don't want to make it sound like that is a romance. That is not between our main characters, but I just want to be very clear that I don't think that that is a romance. So in this, we have really switched to focusing on a police officer who's investigating things that have kind of happened in the past, and everything is stemmed from, what is her name? Ivy? Something with an I. With the whole stalker thing, yeah, at the beginning. So it's like you brought this upon yourself. So people are connected in different ways to everything that's going on. We are following Wes and Ivy and somebody that works where Wes does, and then also this cop. I think it's fine. It's entertaining enough, but also it's not entertaining at the same time, because really like not much is happening, and I don't need to really listen to these people like having fights and then trying to kind of get back at each other. It's not very exciting. I want people to be messed up, but also to be fun about it. Not just like thinking about how the best way to get back at him is to not respond. Like, that's boring. I want to see you trashing his office and doing the stuff that you've been doing in the past. Like, don't make now the part that I'm watching the boring part. So truly it's fine enough. It's not boring mostly, but it's not engaging mostly either. So I'm not mad about it. But I've definitely liked From Samantha Downing more, even in this video. I think she's gonna be a very hit or miss author for me. I feel like it's been a little bit since this one came out, and I don't know. Wait, does she have another one coming out this year actually? But yeah, I'd probably read it. I just think that her books for me are ones that I could pretty early on DNF and know that I'm not missing anything if I do that. So I am going to go get some books. I'll show you what I got. I probably won't vlog in the stores because it's going to be really packed, but I want to get there early because I want to see if I can get the copy of Horror Movie. Sorry, I'm in the same spot. I really need to figure out my glasses with the lighting. Where's my stuff? Okay, I have a quick book haul for you because I went shopping indie bookstore day, and then I did finish A Twisted Love Story. I also got some pre-orders in. I'll just start off with those. So I got When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy and Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. So very excited about both of these. I don't know if this is a debut, but I have not read from this author, and I've read all of Nat Cassidy's books so far. So very much looking forward to those. I also, in my romantasy journey, have read and enjoyed Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. So I ended up getting the Fairy Loot copy of this. I actually ordered it like 2 months ago and it just came in. So I got this. It's very pretty. And then for indie bookstore day, I went to 2 local places. The first one I went to, I ended up getting Victorian Psycho and Snake Oil. These were both in the like mystery thriller horror section. I haven't heard anybody talking about this one, but the cover's really cool and it kind of gives me the like literary horror vibes that I've been wanting recently, I think. And I've heard really good things about Victorian Psycho. This one's a lot shorter than I thought it was. So I got those. And then if you spent more than $30, you could get like a blind date with a book kind of thing, but they were old arcs that they had. So the one that I ended up getting was the only thriller that they had left, and it's Tell Me What I Am by Una Manion. I've never heard of this, but 2 people go missing, and that is that. It's not super long, so I'll have to look into that. And then the other bookstore I went to, I got First Time Caller. Like I said, I was going to in my TBR video. This is by a local author, and I've also been told that people think I'm gonna like that one. And the duality of my reading, I also got Hot Singles in Your Area by Jordan Snively, and this is the second eyeball cover book because Eat the Ones You Love also has some eyeballs on it. This one is apparently weird. You can see, sorry, I have to like completely cover my face so it focuses. On the edge of the book, there's like print that has made it to the edge. So I'm curious what that is going to mean. But there's this like can, or like the tin thing. It's not a can. What are those called? Of eyeballs. And then there's also a tooth on the spine and in the front dust jacket. So I don't know. Honestly, this one has like horrific reviews. And I told the bookseller that. They were like, oh, this cover, like I've been looking at it because it's very intriguing. And I was like, yeah, it has really bad reviews, but it's weird and I'll read anything weird, so I'm gonna try it. So I did get this. It was actually my first time going to both of those indie bookstores. I've been to 2 in this area, but one I went to was kind of further away and the other one was relatively new. So while I was driving around, I ended up finishing A Twisted Love Story. I think I'm gonna give this one like a just barely 3-star. I think that it had a lot of potential at the beginning, and I really enjoyed the setup and trying to figure out where it was going to go. Where it went was fine enough. It was one that kept me invested. Like when I was reading it, I didn't want to put it down constantly, and I had like an okay time with it. But the plot itself, nothing good. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just really wasn't anything that was like interesting, or I don't know. But I will read more from Samantha Downing. She has a new book coming out in August or something like that, so I'll probably pick that one up. And I'm excited. And I enjoy trying more unique kind of thrillers, so I'm happy. That does mean I have finished all of the books for 2023. I have also started night watching. I started this a little bit last night. I am 58 pages in currently, so I'm not going to check in with you, but this one is a thriller, but I've heard people say it's more of like a family suspense. And right now there's like a home invasion happening. And then we're learning about things in the past as well. So I'll update you more once I'm further into that. I'm a little scared for this one because I feel like it might be a little too much gaslighting. So I might DNF it because I hate reading that. There's one character that's making me really annoyed because of that. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to paint my nails. I just got this cool nail polish in. I'm not good at painting my nails, but I'm trying to take better care of them. So I got like a very sparkly different nail polish. So there's that information for you. I am currently on Google Meet sprints on my Patreon. Bi-monthly, we hang out, do sprints together. It's really fun to chat and actually like talk instead of like me talking and people typing to me. So it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. I'm excited. We're gonna do this for a couple hours, so I'm hoping to finish night watching during that time. I am still at my desk, but I've been painting my nails. It's probably not gonna focus. This is a like magnetic polish, and I didn't do a great job with this. Also, I have very stubby fingers and fingernails, so you know, it is what it is. But it's this black with like blue and purple in it, so I didn't do a great job, but that's fine. I've been working on that, and I have made it pretty far. Well, not pretty far, but I've made it 34% into night watching, so I just got to chapter 14. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this because of the gaslighting, which I thought might be an issue. This is definitely a suspense book. A lot of this, they're literally in this closet and this guy is walking around and trying to get them to come out and threatening them and things like that, and she's trying to figure out if she knows this guy, and there's been some small revelations with that, but we don't really have any information. And then we are also getting some backstory about their family and their dynamics between different relationships within their family. And that stuff I'm not liking because her father-in-law sucks, and he's very much like, boys shouldn't have feelings, and you're the worst if you are going to art school. And then like there's just so much gaslighting, and the whole thing is making me annoyed. And then because of this, she has her husband's voice in her head because he's not around, but we don't really know where he is, and he's also gaslighting her in her head. And I get that like if you are hearing that, it can impact your internal thoughts the way that like other people are talking to you. But it's just not fun to read. I don't like it. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try a little bit more because I'm curious about this home invasion stuff, and like I want to know what it is, but I truly don't like reading gaslighting books, especially in like this kind of very forceful, overt way. It's not interesting to me. It's just like frustrating, and I don't like that. Obviously, I know that this is a thing that a lot of people go through, and it might be helpful for people to process things like in this kind of format, and I don't think like it shouldn't be done this way, but I don't love that. So I'm going to read a little bit more. I'm going to paint my nails on my other hand. I did test out the other nail polish that I got. They are holographic ones. I ordered from Mooncat, if anyone is curious, but This is the magnetic one that I put on. So it's black and it has these like purple and blue hues in it. And then I got 2 holographic ones, which this one is black and just has like shimmery stuff in it. And then I got this gold one, which is incredible. So I tried that out on these 2 fingers just to see what it looked like on. I think the gold one might be my favorite. So I need to paint this other hand. I'm gonna listen to some more. I'm having so much fun on these sprints with some of my people on Patreon. It's really fun to hang out and chat with everybody. I wanted you to see Winston. I disturbed him. Okay. I figured out my nail polish a little bit more. It's not focusing, so I can't show you, but I just did the second coat on this hand. Okay, I read 2 more chapters of Night Watching and I am going to DNF this one. Where we are right now, it is about to change what's happening, but my problem is the gaslighting. Like, I actually can't do it. It is one of the worst things for me to read. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I can appreciate the commentary and what this book is saying and the like whatever but I don't like it. I don't leave. No. So I can't do it. I cannot do it. Which is very unfortunate because I thought I was going to like this one. I struggle with home invasion books. I feel like in theory I like them, but I haven't found one that I've really loved. So, you know, it is what it is. But that means that I have read or DNF'd all of the books from last year. So on to 2025. I read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix earlier this year. I don't have a copy because all of my other Grady Hendrix books are in paperback. So I want to get that one in paperback and my library didn't have access to it right now. But I give 4 stars. I enjoyed it. So next up, I will be reading You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Plagio. I actually have previously started this one. I'm 100 pages in, so I'm gonna read a couple more chapters and check in with you. But so far I am liking this one. It's more of like a murder mystery kind of thing, which I like the 1-by-1 trope. So I'm expecting this one to go well. We get Bowser this time. You are very intense with those kisses. Well, I have only one hand. Bowser, I appreciate it, but please don't. I have made it a third into You're Fatally Invited, roughly. I really wish I had 2 hands. This would be a lot easier. Can I borrow this? You can have it back in a you can have it back when I'm done. If you look at this, you can see that it is separated into sections. Yeah, you're impatient. This dog. So I have made it through the first 2 days. This is not going very well. I don't know what the synopsis says. So in this, we are following a couple different characters as they are at a writing retreat. A very like reclusive author that nobody really knows much about has invited these different authors who have different talents and different specialties within writing. So it's J.R. Allister who has invited these people, and he has invited Mila to host his private retreat, and she hasn't like actually met him, but she accepts this invitation because she has issues with one of the people that have been invited. So together they mastermind a week of games, trope-fueled riddles, and a jump scare or 2. And it's the perfect cover for Mila to plot a murder of her own. And then somebody else turns up dead. So she's like, excuse me, I was supposed to be the one doing the murdering, and the person that died is not the one that she wants dead. So she's like, I was supposed to be the one planning all of this, and now it's all ruined. So she's trying to figure out what's actually going on. It says 1 by 1, you'll lose your turn. With a storm isolating the island and the body count rising, Mila must outwit a killer who knows literally every trick in the book until only one of us remains. So I just got to day 3, which is game night. Day 1 is the dinner party, and day 2 is Cursed Artifacts. And I'm enjoying this. I really like the one-by-one trope. It's something that really tends to work well for me in a bunch of different formats. Every once in a while I can find it a little boring, but this one I'm entertained by. We're not getting the perspective of all of the people that are here, so I think that'll be interesting to see why the specific choices were made for the people that we are seeing. Oh, this is also really cool. There is a map in here of the mansion. Is it a mansion? Did I make that up? The Wolf Harbor Estate. It also starts off with an introduction from J.R. Allister. So yeah, we're getting a couple different people, but Mila is the main person. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a really fun time. I think if it continues at this pace and like the characters doing entertaining enough things, it'll be 4 stars for me, but I'm having fun. I expected to, but you never know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I think I've talked to you 20 times. I have made it to day 5, which is 265 pages in. So we have, what, 3 days left, or does this one count as an epilogue? Okay, yeah, so 2 days left and an epilogue. I'm having a really fun time with this one. This is a good one for me to be reading really late because it's very engaging and keeping me interested in the story, even though it's been a very long day, a lot of driving, which is more than I usually do, and then Patreon sprints was truly so much fun, but like it's a lot of talking to people, so I feel like really tired, and I am going to lay in bed and finish this when we're done talking because I need to go to sleep as soon as I finish it so that I can get up and read the last book tomorrow for the discussion. I'm so delusional. Why did I do this? I think that seeing these people trying to figure out what is going on is very entertaining. So there's an aspect in here that I don't want to spoil for you because it's really fun, but like I want to talk about it. All of these writers are brought here for different reasons with their past, but also since they're all writers, there's been things that are involved with their books that I've been enjoying. That's been fun to see because things feel different because of that. I am somebody that really likes games and things like that in books. So seeing these like pre-planned things on top of everything going wrong is fun. And there's been some conversations that have been had between people, and seeing things continue on the path that they've continued, knowing that information is so unhinged, and I think it's fun. I like seeing the character interactions. I am enjoying the plot. It's not something that's like incredibly unique. The one-by-one trope has been done a million times, but I think that this is a very fun version of it. There's even some stuff where it's like talking in second person with Mila. I personally feel like I don't know who the author is, the killer is, if they are one and the same. I am really engaged in the plot and the storyline. Those are the same thing. I'm the characters and the plot, those things. I need to go to sleep very soon. Oh, also, I really like the audiobook for this one. It's a full cast narration, which I think adds to the story. Truly, it's all very, very fun. Last night I finished You Are Fatally Invited. I'm a little torn on my rating for this. I thought that it was really fun and engaging and entertaining, but at the same time I think that there were too many characters we were following, or just like something about them in general that I feel like things weren't as impactful when they were revealed, because I'm like, how did this connect? And I feel like it was just a little, not underwhelming, because like in these kinds of stories, locked room mysteries and limited possible storylines, I feel like it's hard to be surprised. But I feel like with a fun book, I feel like I need to be a little bit more surprised. It's really, really hard to explain because I enjoyed my time reading it. Listen, I'm thinking around 4 stars, maybe like 3.75 if we're like super specific. I flew through this. It was really easy to read. It was entertaining. I liked the games aspect of it. I think that that was a fun little addition to this one by one trope. But within the characters and like the reveals and everything, I feel like that wasn't anything like really entertaining. But I did like it. So that is how I'm feeling about this book. The motives behind things were just like okay for me, but I did overall enjoy this. I really like this cover. I really like this color scheme. So I will be keeping this on my shelves. I'm glad that I read this because this is definitely one that I got from Aardvark but would have sat on my shelves for a little bit because I wouldn't have prioritized it without the book club. So we are on to our last read. It is book club day. I have started The Inheritance. Oh, it's upside down. But I'll check in with you once I'm a little further in. This one is more of a mystery family drama versus a thriller. So I think going into that with those expectations will help me because I know a lot of people, specifically my Patreon Discord, have not liked this. I think they went in with the expectations of it being like kind of similar in vibes to this one because they're both isolated island stuff, but this is a family reunion centered around an inheritance. So there's the mother, father, and then 3 children, and then there's a wife with Asim, who is the son who's supposed to be the heir, and then Myra is the one who owns this island that they're on, and then Aisha is the youngest, and they all have secrets and also want money. I'm about 115 pages into The Inheritance. So in this, we are following the family that I told you about, and it starts off on the first page with a chapter that is set in now. And that's like a page and a half. And then it goes to 3 days ago. So we're getting 3 days ago whenever everybody is arriving to this island, 2 days ago, and then 1 day ago. And during that time, we learn about the plan for this inheritance. And we are learning about the dynamics between all of these characters. The father is the head of the family. The mother has become a very passive person, not in these past 3 days, but apparently she used to be really strong, and now she kind of just like does whatever and doesn't really have any of her own opinions. And I know that Myra is struggling financially, and Zoe and Asim, they had this announcement, and then the third sister Aisha has brought somebody on this trip, and he is different from what the family wants for her, and he seems a little bit like a there for the money kind of person, but she seems really happy, so we're trying to figure out those dynamics. This truly is a family drama. There has not been anything other than the very first couple pages with the now chapter, and then the one that happens right where I got to, and it's not even a full page. But we know that there has been a murder or a death in the present time. I do think that the way that this was done with the setup was interesting, so that we had that intrigue for what was going to happen at the end of these 3 days, but then also had time to see the setup of everything. This isn't my favorite thing I've ever read, like it's just fine. I feel like the family drama isn't as exciting as I want it to be, but it's also fine enough to read. Like, it's an easy read. I think the writing is fine. I think the setup is fine. It's all just kind of fine, like leaning towards I'm still enjoying it. I am excited to be in the now timeline and get into more of the like mystery elements and people being more on edge and maybe like sneaky and learning about these secrets. I can't talk with my headphones on because I feel like I scream when I do that. I have made it 67% into The Inheritance, which is to chapter 36. Also, I was wrong about the setup of the book. So I thought that we were getting the 3 days before and then switching to the now perspective, but the now was literally just that page, so that was my bad. I don't think that the stuff that is happening is interesting enough to warrant this much of the book. I think that the only thing that's keeping me a little bit intrigued is the 2.5 pages we've had of now. So I'm not but at the same time it's an easy read, and when I'm reading it, it's fine. I'm not wow, I hate that I'm reading this. I wish that I could quit and do something else. So I'm not exactly sure how to feel about that. We are just seeing them talking about the inheritance and the company and how they don't like people's significant others and how their family is run, and that's interesting to a certain point, but I feel like at this point something else needs to have happened. I don't think that any of the characters are interesting enough to warrant all of these pages. I don't know who dies. I know who I want to die, but also, do I really like anybody? No. But not in wow, this is a fun to hate character. I just slightly dislike everybody, and it's not fun. I do think that I could like it more if I was really invested in these characters, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't like this family dynamic and their relationships with each other, but also this is not my culture. So while I can be frustrated with things, it's also hard to say, this is awful, I hate it, I think that they need to quit what they're doing, even though part of me feels that. So I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. But also, I'm a little scared for the live show because do I have that much to say? Because this is feeling 2.5 stars. I don't know. We'll see. I have finished The Inheritance. I don't even know how to talk about this book. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk about this with everybody. I didn't like the direction this ended up going in. I think that the setup was not my favorite because there was no intrigue and everybody was just annoying. I think I'm gonna give this 2.5 stars. For a while I was thinking it was going to be 3 stars, and the more we got into the story, the less that was happening, the less I cared, and then I was just annoyed and frustrated with a lot of the things that happened. So that's a bummer to end this on, and yeah, it'll be an interesting one to discuss at least. So finishing this, I am now literally dead. I don't know. I've read all of them, which is very exciting. From year 1, which I did realize technically I have not read one of the books, but there wasn't a live show, so it does not count. My favorites were One by One and Home Before Dark. Year 2, in 2021, my favorite was My Heart is a Chainsaw. Year 3, I have a lot of 5 stars in this deck actually. What Moves the Dead, Confessions, The Paris Apartment, controversial, I know. Another controversial one, You're Invited. Year 4, 2023. My 5 stars were The Spite House, The Writing Retreat, Midnight is the Darkest Hour, which I would lower my rating now, I think, and The Family Game, but my favorite definitely was The Writing Retreat. Year 5, this one is a bigger stack, 2024. My favorite was This Is Where We Talk Things Out, and 2025, so far my favorite has been Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, but I feel like there's going to be at least one that will beat it. If you're interested in more thoughts, I will have the live show for The Inheritance linked in the description. Thank you so much to Kayla for inviting me to co-host and for just running this book club in general. If you've made it to the end and want to leave me an emoji just to say we're here, you can leave me something blue for The Inheritance. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you very soon. Bye.